I think we've just about come full circle as far as the meta goes, or actually how it's perceived by the community. Lots of YouTubers have made videos explaining the meta as it's changed throughout Overwatch's lifetime. Lots of people have explained and tried to change it and also defined various heroes that maybe counter the meta. But in the end, now we've reached a new point of meta videos, or just meta perceptions actually. The meta does not matter perception. It started with the argument that, alright, the meta isn't a rule. For one, you can play any hero you want and it's totally okay. And that's true, yeah, the meta isn't like a rule set. You don't need to play the meta. And then it evolved into this thing where people were like, all right, at lower ranks, you should pretty much just ignore the meta. Literally, people at lower ranks don't play the same way as people at higher ranks. So the meta isn't even, it doesn't even impact you. Just play whoever you want. Now, this is partially true. Yes, the meta isn't nearly as prevalent down in lower and the mid-range of ranks, but that doesn't mean you should throw it out entirely. There's a lot of valuable information in the meta that you can gather from it. Okay, but whatever, I can still see that argument. Now we've reached a stage where people are basically rejecting the meta 100%. Now, obviously, these are YouTube comments and Reddit posts I'm looking at, so I don't know the people's rank, but there are some people who are literally just throwing it out the window and then going on to complain about why they aren't doing good. Let me give you an example with this comment here. You are dumb. The meta is only for the top 1% players that are in pros. Nobody needs it in Master or even Grandmaster, so anything below that, it's useless. Junkrat is the same as any tank. Now, I'll admit, this is an extreme case. Most comments are much more reasonable than this one, but some of them, actually, there's a lot that aren't as well. There's a good amount that are equally stupid. So what I'm here to do today is kind of redefine what the meta is to you, because a lot of people seem to be getting it wrong. For one, you're all pretty much right when you say it isn't a rule set. You don't need to play meta heroes. I don't always play meta heroes, and nobody seems to have a problem with that, and I don't have a problem with you if you don't play meta heroes. So let's get that out of the way for one. So if the meta isn't a rule set, then why do I even care about it? How can it even help me? Well, you're right in a sense. The meta isn't a rule set for you, but it is essentially a rule set for the highest level of play. Now, that rule set changes as people discover new things, but at the highest level of play, the meta is pretty much a rule set. As you move away from the highest level of play, it becomes less of a rule set and more of a guideline. And then once it gets even further, it becomes less of a guideline and more of just something other people do. The common misconception here is that I'm not very close to the pro scene, so I shouldn't care about it at all. I don't care about the meta, I don't care about the pro scene. It's all just completely useless to me. This is the wrong mindset. This is the mindset I'm here to fix, because even though the meta might not apply to you directly, there's definitely a lot of valuable information you can get from it. Let's talk about the various ranks of players and what you can all get individually from the meta, because there's something for everyone. Even in bronze, you can learn things from the meta. So let's start at the lowest level of play. Let's go to bronze and silver. If you're in bronze and silver, the meta is likely to not be prevalent down there. I'm guessing you see a lot of DPS heroes, you see very little healers, and probably not too many tanks. Something common I hear is just play what you're comfortable with, because that's going to be better than any meta composition. And down here, that's true. And even in the gold platinum range, that's true. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So playing what you're most comfortable with is definitely the best way to get out of bronze and silver. But the meta is here to help you, pick what you should become good with. Don't try to become good with Hanzo, especially in bronze and silver. That's not going to be a very good choice. But if you use the meta, you can say, all right, Roadhog is pretty meta right now. I'm going to get good with Roadhog. And when you become comfortable on Roadhog, not only are you comfortable on him, but you are also playing someone who's in the meta. And that can help you greatly, especially in low-ranked games where nobody wants to play a tank. Everyone wants to play a DPS. The same goes for supports. Ana is super OP. If I learn Ana, I can definitely climb out of bronze and silver, because I can just keep my stupid teammates alive with Ana's OP healing. See what I'm trying to do here? You don't necessarily need to play the meta, but it definitely can help you determine who is good and who you should be trying to get good with. That is why the meta exists for low-ranked players. Now let's talk about the gold, platinum, and diamond ranks. And I'm lumping a lot of players together here, I know, but those players were all basically in platinum last season, if we're being honest. That's basically last season's platinum. What you guys need to be doing is start adjusting to the meta. You're getting pretty close to the point where the meta is going to start to matter. Not so much in gold, maybe not in platinum, but especially in diamond, you're going to start seeing this a lot. Not only will you be seeing other teams running it, you're going to kind of be begged to run it yourself. You're going to have that one guy in every single game that's like, come on, man, we need 3 tanks, sometimes even 4 tanks. We need to run that. That's what they did at the last tournament. As you climb in rank, you're going to get pressured with statements like this a lot more. And even though at gold, it doesn't matter too much, platinum, it matters a little, diamond, it matters a fair bit. You should probably start getting used to it. Maybe not always playing it. Playing other heroes you're comfortable with is fine, but be ready for that point if you're climbing where you hit the mark where everyone wants to run triple tank or whatever the current meta is, because believe it or not, it does matter. Before we talk about the diamond plus ranks, let me just make one statement here. If you're struggling to climb and you don't know what you're doing wrong and you don't have any resources at hand, like you've analyzed your gameplay, you can't see what you're doing wrong. You've watched videos, you don't know what you're doing wrong. If you've taken all the other steps, but you're still not playing the meta, I think there's a problem here. There's not a problem in you not playing the meta, but if you're looking to climb and nothing else seems to work, try playing meta heroes. I mean, they're meta for a reason. They're OP. They're what the best players say are good, so they're gonna work at a lot of ranks. Actually, I don't think there's any meta hero that doesn't work at any rank. If a hero was meta, it works in every rank. It's at the lower ranks where heroes work and higher ranks where some heroes stop to work. But the meta heroes work everywhere, so you really can't go wrong with playing them. Actually, let me make an amendment to that statement. Thinking about that statement, I kind of worded it wrong. The meta heroes, when played right, work anywhere, whereas some heroes, even if you play Junkrat right, at the Grandmaster level, like a good Junkrat might just be outclassed by an enemy, Soldier 76 or something. So sometimes at higher ranks, even heroes you play right don't work. But if you play a meta hero and you play that hero right, it'll work anywhere. And I have to say that you have to play the hero right because someone like Ana is very hard. If you're not comfortable with Ana, she's not going to work. But if you're comfortable with her, she will work anywhere. That is what I'm trying to say. If you play a hero right and that hero was a meta hero, you are good. You can play that hero throughout your climb and your fall in rank. Now let's move on to the Diamond Plus ranks in Overwatch. If you're Diamond Plus, congrats, you're like top 10%. So you already know what you're doing at least a little bit. Now at this point, you definitely need to be considering a few things. For one, you need to start learning meta heroes. If you're like a Widowmaker main or you're some off meta hero main, that's totally fine. And it's great to be able to play those heroes and climb with them. That's fun. But if your ultimate goal is climbing, you're going to need to learn these other heroes. Like some games, your Widowmaker won't work. If you have nothing to fall back on, you're screwed. You will not be able to win that game. It's basically a 5v6 if you don't know how to play any other heroes. So having those meta heroes in your back pocket for when things look like you're going to need them is going to help you greatly. And it's going to start to become more mandatory as you climb higher. So in the end, knowing the meta and having it in the back of your mind and having some meta heroes as picks you can rely on is going to help you greatly. The meta isn't useless for anyone, despite what some people might tell you. If this video was helpful to you all, you learned something new, be sure to hit that like button down below, the one to the left of the dislike button. That's the one with the thumbs up. Yeah, I will see you all in the next video. Lone Hawk, out.